with another video. First and foremost, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I mean, I know today's Wednesday and Thanksgiving's tomorrow, but happy early Thanksgiving, I guess. And being Wednesday, it's time to talk about the Week 12 football games that are going on here. A lot of football on Thanksgiving. There's obviously a strong tradition of that, so I'm getting excited to eat a lot of good stuff and then watch some games on TV. So what's not to love about all of that? So let's go ahead and get to the Week 12 football picks here. Talk about the games and all that sort of thing. So the first game up here, we've got 3 games on Thursday. So usually it's just a Thursday night game. Since it's Thanksgiving, we got a lot of football on Thanksgiving. So we got 3 games on Thursday. We got an early game, a later game, and then a night game. First game up is gonna be the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. I believe this game is gonna be in Minnesota. The primary thing that I'm looking at here is just the fact that these two teams played each other 2 weeks ago. I think just 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Detroit lost that game, or I guess you could say Minnesota won that game 22-16. I think just because of that and the fact that it seems like the Vikings kind of got their stuff straightened out here with a 30-24 win last week over Arizona, kind of, because they had those 4 losses in a row. They were really, in a tailspin. I think that, it seems like they kind of got that straightened out. And also sort of the revenge factor you have when you kind of just lost to a team, especially a divisional opponent. They're both NFC North teams. Very similar in terms of stats. Detroit's got 331 yards total per game to Minnesota's 293. Really closely matched. I'm not going to recite all the statistics. I mean, both teams are tied 6-4 in their division. But anyways, like I said, I've got Minnesota winning this game just because of the revenge factor, the fact that it's in Minnesota, and because it seems like Minnesota finally has their act together here after 4 weeks of taking the L. Next game up here, great game. Really, any game that's got a number 1, 2, 3, 4 team in it is going to be a good game. We've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Washington Redskins. This is the game that's later on tomorrow. First thing that comes to mind when I think of this matchup is obviously Dez Bryant and Josh Norman. I mean, these guys can talk trash. I mean, they can really, not only that, but they're not afraid to get, chippy with each other. I mean, everybody knows about Josh Norman and Odell Beckham Jr. last season when Josh Norman was on the Panthers, and there was that game they had where the two of them were going at it. So that's going to be an interesting little scrap to watch there. We'll see what happens with them. Dallas is obviously the class of the NFC. I think it's safe to say that. Dallas is 9-1, best record in the NFL. Their record is 9-1 to the Redskins 6-3. Statistics-wise, it's actually the same, or just a few yards off here. Total yards per game for the Redskins, they kind of just edge out Dallas. 418 yards to 413. The number one thing I really want to look up here is just defensively how the Redskins are against the run. Third down conversion allowed 46% for the Redskins, so almost half of the time they're giving up third downs. Also, rush yards per game allowed 112 yards versus Dallas's 84. So obviously we're talking about Ezekiel Elliott here, just being able to shut him down. If you watch tape of him, because I really haven't, really up until these last few weeks here, paid too much attention to Dallas. I mean, not watch them religiously, I guess you could say. But if you watch the way that Ezekiel Elliott runs, I really compare it a lot to kind of how Marshawn Lynch ran. I mean, he's definitely stocky. When he wants to drop a shoulder and, kind of play a physical type of run game, he can do it. But he also has the speed, which, as we saw with people like Marshawn Lynch. I mean, I guess a more current example would be like an Eddie Lacy. Not really LaShawn McCoy, because LaShawn McCoy is just fast. Maybe somebody like the Patriots, like Garrett Blunt. Just somebody who's able to move quickly and be somewhat elusive, but also have the weight to play, a more physical type of game. Really makes for the ideal running back, and that's kind of what we saw with Marshawn Lynch, and that's really what we see with Ezekiel Elliott. So my concern is the Redskins not being able to stop him. Also, their third down numbers here are not looking like they're up to snuff. I think Dallas is going to lose a few more games before the season's out. I really want to see them when they play the Giants again, because Dallas's only loss this season was against the Giants in their first game, so their season opener here. But I've got Dallas winning this game, but I think they're gonna. But I think at some point they'll lose another. I'll tell you right now. I mean, I'm gonna call it right now. NFC Championship game come January better be the Seattle Seahawks and the Dallas Cowboys. Now those two teams do not play each other in the regular season, but that's gonna be a game. That is, I mean, I'm really hoping that one of them doesn't crap themselves in the divisional round. And kind of knock themselves out of it, because I really want to see that. That might even be better than the Super Bowl. I mean, that will be a game. Not only will it be a great game to watch, but it's going to answer a lot of questions. Basically who's better, the Cowboys or the Seahawks. I don't want to get into that too much, but just kind of my take on that is I feel like it's the Seahawks just because watching the Seahawks, like they seem more explosive. Like I don't not only are the Seahawks just kind of like notoriously lucky. I mean, think back to the missed field goal in the NFC. Was it the no, it was the divisional round game with Minnesota and Seattle, like the missed kick and then the catch in the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. There's something about the Seattle, like when they want to put some crazy drive together, I would never count them out, even against Dallas. But I mean, hey, that'll be a hell of a game to watch. Yeah, so anyways, I got Dallas winning this game. Next game up here, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Indianapolis Colts. This is one of those games where, like, a few years ago, this would have been a great game. Like, this would have been a great matchup, two of the top teams in the AFC. Not really the case anymore. Pittsburgh is 5-5. I mean, I don't think anybody would have predicted. I mean, I don't think, coming into the season, even, a few weeks in, anybody would have predicted, Pittsburgh to be 5-5. Obviously you can attribute that to Roethlisberger going out, him dealing with his injury, just kind of problems all around. As far as Indianapolis is concerned, they're also 5-5, so I guess they're kind of an equal matchup in that sense. I've got Pittsburgh winning this game because I think they're more of a complete team. I mean, Le'Veon Bell, man, that guy, he can, like, the way he runs, it's like silky smooth, just like with the way he jukes, tacklers, and it's just, I love watching that. And obviously, Antonio Brown, they've got the long game when they need to dial that up. Their defense is, well, they're 5-5 for a reason, so I don't want to, go on and on too much. Just kind of, a lot of it is you have to be able to separate how the team is now versus, kind of the notion or the kind of like the pre you have about them based upon how they played like the last, however many years they've been a dominant team for a really long time, just kind of like the Colts were. However, kind of putting aside the stats and the record of both teams being the same, I just kind of look at the fact that Pittsburgh, they won their last game against Cleveland, but, I wouldn't even count that. And then they lost 2 games before that against Dallas, which, Dallas is a great team, and Baltimore the week before that. Whereas the Colts knocked off Tennessee, and they also knocked off Green Bay, who we're starting to see here is having a lot of issues. Going to be some serious questions for them after this season's over. Anyways, I've got Pittsburgh winning this game. I mean, kind of like after Thanksgiving, the general rule is that's kind of when it gets real. Every game really starts to matter more and more as the playoff picture kind of gets more set in stone, I guess you could say. So I've got Pittsburgh winning this game. Next game up, Arizona Cardinals. This is we're done with the Thursday game, so all those games were on Thanksgiving tomorrow. So now we're going to Sunday here. The other thing I want to say is I think every team plays this week. I don't think any team's on a bye. Now I'm not sure if that's because it's like the Thanksgiving weekend here, and Thanksgiving's kind of a lot about football, or I think they might just be done with bye weeks. I don't know if everybody's had theirs, but I think it's possible that everybody's done. But anyways, we got a full spread this week. So Arizona Cardinals, Atlanta Falcons. I mean, Arizona going into this season, I mean, they were like almost Super Bowl locks, right? I mean, now you kind of look at the fact that they're 4-5. I mean, I don't think anybody would have predicted that. I don't think anybody would have predicted a lot of things about this season. A lot of surprises here. If you look at who the Falcons have played, they lost to the Eagles 15-24. They just had a bye week there last week against Tampa Bay and in Green Bay. Look at the Cardinals here. Their last game, they lost to Minnesota. They just played a few days ago. All right. They lost to Minnesota 24-30, and they beat San Francisco 23-20. I mean, that's a close score for the 1-9 49ers. I mean, if you can't put them away, that's kind of really, really concerning here. I've got Atlanta winning this game just because, I mean, if you look at the stats, I mean, Arizona's kind of behind Atlanta in almost like every stat that, you can look at here. Total yards per game, passing yards per game. They are ahead by like 4 yards in rush yards per game. But there's really just been a lot of disappointment with them this season. I think it'll be a close game, but I think Atlanta, I described them as explosive. I guess you could say red hot. Not only because like that's their like the team colors are red, but I can just see them winning this game more than I can see Arizona. Next game up, we've got the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens. Nice AFC North scrap here. Cincinnati is 3-6 with and 1 tie too. I was gonna say because that's only 9 games. The Ravens, on the other hand, are 5-5, and I'm gonna keep it simple because we got a lot of teams we got to get through here. Like I said, because there's no bye weeks this week. I've got Baltimore winning this game just based upon the record here and how poorly Cincinnati has played, but also their coaching situation there. Marvin Lewis, be a lot of questions for him after this season is over when we get to what is it called, like Black Monday or like Black Tuesday or like it's like I think it's Black Monday. It's like the day after the last regular season game, like the day after that Sunday when everybody who's going to get whacked kind of gets fired. So the next game up here, we've got the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Buffalo. I got Buffalo. Screw it. Next game up here, Tennessee Titans and the Chicago Bears. The Titans are 5-6. The Bears are 2-8. I think Jay Cutler, I think he's out. He's having a problem. I think it's with his shoulder. So he's either out or he's hurt or where. The situation's not good in Chicago. So just based upon that, I have Tennessee winning this game. All right, so next game, get the hell out of here. We got the New York Giants and the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, I got the Giants, but I do want to just stop for a second here to talk about the Giants. So I'm not sure what to make of the New York Giants this season. They're 7-3 in the NFC East, so they're second behind Dallas. They're not going to, get ahead of Dallas here. It's interesting that Dallas's only loss, like I said, is against the Giants, but I don't know whether or not to buy in with the New York Giants. Like I'm not, because if you remember the just kind of like the disaster that was last season for the Giants, they had to get rid of Tom Coughlin and they brought in McAdoo, who I'm not sure if is it like a credit to him, just this amazing turnaround here. Because usually teams that have to, they're just, if they're just bad for many years, like for instance the Giants, I don't think they really haven't been a playoff contender since they were in the Super Bowl like 5 years ago. In kind of like you have to get rid of your head coach, and usually there's like some transitional like a year, like a season or two before you're back in it when you kind of have to repair your team. And the Giants went from, the kind of like I don't want to say the cellar of the NFCs because the Eagles had a bad season last season too, but really from, not a very high place in the league to being arguably number 5, I think you could say, in power rankings. They've looked damn good this season. However, part of me thinks it's kind of like a mirage. Like I'm sure there's a lot of Giants fans, I don't know if they're watching this or not, that are probably very high on their team. We know how, Giants fans are. But it seems like the Giants have a few plays. Like they have a long ball to Odell Beckham Jr. They have, their run game, and they kind of have like those Eli Manning, big, spectacle drive. Like I don't know. I don't have any, better words to describe, but you know what I'm talking about? Like if you think about in the Super Bowl, I guess there are 2 Super Bowls that you might remember. Both happen to be against the Patriots. Like because they were gonna, if you don't remember this, I'll just refresh you on it. They were gonna lose both of those Super Bowls. It came down to like the last drive of the game. The Giants got the ball, and both of those last drives were just like fluke plays, like circus catches. Like obviously everybody remembers David Tyree's ridiculous catch off the helmet. And with him he was like dancing around in the pocket. I remember watching and thinking like, why don't they call the whistle? Because usually when the quarterback's under that much pressure, they'll blow the whistle because obviously you got to protect your quarterback. But he put he catches it off the helmet. I mean, I don't think anybody'd ever forget that catch. When it comes to circus catches, I mean that's up there. And then obviously the Super Bowl after that, the Mario Manningham ridiculous over the shoulder, somehow he caught it on that one going on the sideline. And now years later, fast forward, we've got Odell Beckham Jr. and we know the kinds of catches he's capable of making. And it just seems like the Giants have always been about that, like these low percentage, well I guess it's high percentage for them, but these kind of like unreliable circus catch fluke plays that somehow work. That just somehow work. I don't. Well, they're 7-3, so you can't argue with that. But I'm just not sure how much to buy into that. I mean, you can't argue with the results, but I'm not sure if in a big spot against Dallas or Seattle, obviously either one of those teams they're going to have to be able to beat in the postseason. I don't know if they have what it takes, but hey, props to them for getting their act together this season after several years of kind of being in the weeds. Next game up here, San Diego Chargers, Houston Texans. So Houston's coming off a short week. Who else is coming off a short week? Who'd they play? What is it, Oakland? Yeah, Oakland. Yeah, of course Oakland plays this week. So Houston, I watched that game. This game was I think it was in Mexico City. Well, it was in Mexico. I don't know exactly where. So Houston, they were ahead several times. Oakland had a lot of problems. They did not look good. They had a lot of problems in the game. A lot of drop passes on both teams, really. I think, they said it had something to do with like the turf is softer. So I don't really buy into that. But Oakland really did not look good. Like they really did not show up. I mean, they really didn't show up, but Houston just couldn't close them out. I mean, I think it came down to the last drive there. I'm not exactly sure. I turned it off after a while because it kind of got late. But I mean, Houston, they could have won that game. Did not leave it all on the field on that game. Well, they left the ball on the field because they kept having incompletions every now and then. If you don't remember, it was like there was one play, I forget who it was in Houston, he caught the pass, was running down the sideline, and one of the referees there said he was out of bounds. You look at the replay, and I guess the most accurate thing you could say about what happened is, I guess, like the side of his shoe, like he didn't go out of bounds, his foot didn't go out of bounds, but he might have like touched like a blade of grass that was painted white, for the side. I mean, he really was not, I wouldn't have called him out of bounds. Anyways, if they had that one, would have won. But what are you going to do? But anyways, San Diego's 4-6. Houston is the opposite of that, 6-4. I've got San Diego winning this game. They kind of got to get back into it here in the AFC West. Very, very tough division. And I'm really not confident in Houston after what we saw the other night. Next game up here, a few weeks ago, this would have been a dumpster fire, but I guess now it's kind of interesting just because Miami's got a pretty solid running game. We've got the San Francisco 49ers and the Miami Dolphins playing here. Only positive thing about this game is Miami's run game. I mean, Jay Ajayi's doing some great things for them. But actually, statistically, the San Francisco 49ers have exactly like 1.7 more yards rushing per game. So I wouldn't really buy into that. Say the 49ers suck. We've kind of established that in previous videos we saw on Sunday. The Dolphins are a great team. I think Tannehill is, I really don't know, don't have many kind words for him. It's really Miami's run game is going to be, something to watch. Next game up here, LA Rams and the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints are a friggin' mirage. Like, I don't know what to make of them. I mean, they have the same record as the LA Rams, 4-6. If you look at total yards per game, it's a blowout. I mean, it's not even close like this. The Saints have 422 yards total per game. The Rams clock in at a measly 299.9, I guess. The thing about the Saints that I really can't understand it here is they put up monster points in some of these games, like 40 points week after week, and they're 4-6. But I think just because of, just statistically how explosive they can be when and if they decide to turn it on, I've got New Orleans winning this game. Next game up here, I'll get the hell out of here. Seattle Seahawks, Tampa Bay, Seattle winning this game. Next game up here, oh my God, get the hell out of here. We got the New England Patriots and the New York Jets. I don't know what's going on with the Jets. I mean, it was Fitzpatrick, and then they benched him and brought in Bryce Petty, and then they, saw how he did, screw that, and then they brought, I think Fitzpatrick is going to be the quarterback again this week. I'll tell you right now, for Fitzpatrick to be their starting quarterback, Bryce Petty and Mettenberger must really suck. I mean, they have to really be bad to be bringing Fitzpatrick back in. I mean, the thing I will say about Fitzpatrick is he can have some good games. Like, don't count on it or anything. But I mean, sometimes he has these games where he throws 4 touchdowns. Other times he has games where he throws 4 picks. So I mean, it's kind of like a week by week sort of thing with them. A team that's not week by week is the Patriots here. So I've got them winning this game. Carolina Panthers, Oakland Raiders. I'm not buying in on the Carolina Panthers. However, let's give them credit for staging what looks like it's a comeback. I'm not saying it's a comeback, but I mean, Luke Kuechly really just watching the play of the injury of his injury, the hit he took. At first, it doesn't look like a big hit, but obviously it was a concussion. He got hit in the head, and the people were saying he was crying after. He was just very dazed. I mean, hey man, I hope the best for him. I mean, that's a nasty injury to deal with, because it's not like you twist your ankle or something, you put ice on it, it gets better. Concussions, there's just very little, that's understood about concussions. It's hard to treat. And obviously everybody knows about, what can happen later in life if you take too many concussions. I mean, he seemed like he was really dazed after that hit. So I really, hope the best for him. But, they took Norman out of Carolina. You take Kuechly out of there. I mean, it was rough as it is, but now I don't know what to make of them. Like I said, it seemed like they've, been coming back here, and I'm not saying they're going to have some playoff run or anything like that, like they're going to compete with Dallas or Seattle. But I can respect it. It seems like, kind of considering the opening to the season they had here, I can kind of respect what they're doing, even though, I mean, at this point they're tied 4-6 in the NFC South with New Orleans. So hey, props to them. I got Oakland winning this game, obviously. I mean, obviously you got Oakland winning this game. Game of the week right here. Game of the week. That's why you're seeing this game on Madden right now. Kind of like, simulated out. I mean, it's 3-minute quarters, so I don't know what kind of simulation it is, but, there you go. So Denver just had a bye week. I could have swore Denver already had a bye week. I don't know. Just like, I guess they didn't since they just had one. Denver 7-3. Kansas City is 7-3, so not a whole lot separating them there. I kind of have a problem with, just what Trevor Siemian's doing. I mean, as good as Denver's defense is, it's not as good as it was last season. It's damn good. I'll tell you right now. Like, I wouldn't really put anybody else's defense ahead of theirs. Because the whole, the Von Miller, friggin', DeMarcus Ware, Aqib Talib, the whole showdown there. It is a shutdown, like 85 Bears territory. So, I mean, I wouldn't put anything past them. However, if you can't score any points, it's really kind of all for naught. Because the expression isn't the best offense is a good defense. It's, the best defense is a good offense. But that's kind of only gets you so far. It's not like Trevor Siemian is bad, but in a big spot when you really need a clutch guy, you really need a clutch guy behind center to make some plays. Not that confident in him. I just got Kansas City because I feel like Kansas City needs to make a statement here. They want to pull away. I mean, the AFC West is a battle royale, I'll tell you right now. So whoever's going to win that division is anybody's guess. Last game, last but not least, Green Bay Packers, Philadelphia Eagles. I've got the Eagles winning this game because the Green Bay Packers, it is time to man the lifeboats in Green Bay. Like, it is time to hit the panic buttons, friggin' get the people in 2 different rooms to turn the keys, and 3 losses in a row. They lost to the Redskins. They lost to the Tennessee Titans. They lost to the Colts. Yeah, and their schedule doesn't get easier. They're going to play Houston. First of all, they're playing the Eagles, which are, a force to be reckoned with. Then they play Houston, and then they play Seattle to, kind of as we get down to the end here. So, yeah, it's really kind of time to panic in Green Bay. I've got the Eagles winning this game. All right, guys, well, that's going to do it for this week's football picks. I hope you enjoyed this video. We did have more teams than I think ever before this week just because there were no bye weeks here. So other than that, that's going to do it for this video. Future videos wise, we're going to finish off Call of Duty here. I got all those last few. It's all been taped already. So I'm going to get those videos out, and then we're going to play multiplayer and Modern Warfare Remastered. I do want to finish off one more single player mission in Battlefield 1, get some multiplayer of that, and then we will go back to GTA 5. I have not forgotten about GTA 5. I just think that's good to kind of, mix in some different things, get some new games, because there's a lot of games, like a lot of new games come out, and obviously you can't do videos on all of them, and the vast majority of what I do is GTA 5. So I thought, let's mix some other stuff in there. So GTA 5 will return very soon, but I do want to kind of finish what I started, I guess you could say, with Call of Duty. So that will be coming out, and then we'll go from there. But other than that, have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Thanks for watching this video, and until next time, that'll do it.